Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a question that sounds like it was ripped straight from a comic book. Could you build a functioning brain, a thinking mind, out of pure, raw lightning?
I mean, it sounds kind of impossible, right? But let's actually seriously explore it. Can we take one of nature's most powerful chaotic forces and somehow tame it into something as intricate and structured as a thinking mind?
So to figure this out, we can't just jump straight into the storm. We got to break the problem down. First, we need to get a really good handle on what a brain actually is, and second, we need to understand what we're trying to build it with.
Yeah, before we even think about building a new brain, let's look at the original blueprint, our own. What are the absolute non-negotiable parts and functions that make a brain, well, a brain?
Okay, so at the very heart of it all is the neuron. This is the brain's fundamental building block. It's a special little cell that passes information along using these tiny, incredibly precise electrical and chemical signals. You got to think of it less like a wild spark and more like a perfectly calibrated switch. And the key word here, you guessed it, is control.
And it's not just about what one neuron can do, it's what billions of them do together. This is basically the job description for any brain, biological or not. It has to process data, it's got to store memories, learn from experience, and, this is the big one, form these vast, complex networks.
So, there you have it. This is our engineering checklist. Our lightning brain has to be able to do all of these things. If it can't, it's not a brain. It's just a very, very complicated storm. All right, so we've got the blueprint. Now, let's look at our proposed building material, the storm itself. How does raw lightning stack up against our checklist?
And wow, this gets right to the core of the problem, doesn't it? A neuron signal, it operates on this low, precise voltage and it's delivered with absolute control. A lightning bolt? We're talking millions of volts of pure, untamed chaos rocketing along near the speed of light. One is a whisper, the other is a primal scream.
You see, the problem isn't just a matter of scale. It's a difference in their very nature. We're not comparing a little spark to a big fire. We're comparing a surgeon's scalpel to a cataclysm. One performs delicate, precise operations on information. The other is just a raw, destructive event.
And let's try to put that power into perspective. A single bolt of lightning, right, carries about 1 billion joules of energy. That's enough to power a house for weeks. Meanwhile, the human brain runs on about 20 watts, the same as a dim little light bulb. The scale of energy is it's fundamentally wrong for the delicate job of thinking.
And that, right there, brings us to the biggest hurdle of all. I mean, forget about making it think for a second. How could we possibly contain and direct this kind of force without it just instantly vaporizing any structure we try to build around it?
Okay, let's bring the two sides together. The brain's super delicate requirements versus lightning's violent, chaotic nature. It is time for the final verdict.
The path from a storm to a thought is just filled with these almost impossible challenges. First off, you'd have to capture the energy. Then, you'd have to tame its chaos into predictable circuits. Then, you'd have to somehow engineer those circuits to perform logic. And finally, you have to figure out how to make that raw energy actually store memory. Each one of those steps, on its own, is a monumental Nobel Prize-level problem.
So yeah, the verdict is in. Lightning is just the wrong tool for the job. It's way too powerful, it's too chaotic, and it's too destructive to do the delicate, controlled work of a biological brain. At the end of the day, you just can't perform surgery with a cataclysm.
But, and this is a big but, even if it's impossible, asking the question is incredibly valuable. These what-if scenarios, they force us to get really specific about what a brain is, what consciousness could even be. It pushes us to imagine entirely new forms of computation. I'm talking about crazy stuff like computers made of DNA or slime mold.
So we'll leave you with this thought. If a brain is really just a system that can process information and learn, and we've decided lightning is probably the wrong tool, what might be the right one? Could a galaxy think? Could an ocean? The questions, it turns out, are often so much more important than the answers.